I grew up in the building business. My father was a builder. Both my grandparents were builders in San Diego, and it was something that was just a natural. My father, Stan Scott, was twice president of the Building Contractors Association. Both of my grandfathers were builders in San Diego, so I literally grew up in the building business.
I was born into the Building Industry Association with my father, Corky, and my mom, Vani. They started the company in 1960. So I became a part of the Building Industry Association by default. And that's all I've ever known.
Well, it's a pretty simple answer. Ever since I was 7 years old, that's the honest to God truth, I used to go to the lumber yard with my dad, who was a contractor in Virginia. And as I got older and older, I used to go to the bank with him, go into the vault. And, you know, I just always liked it.
You know, I think I got into building at a really young age because my dad was in the business, and I felt really fortunate. A lot of people ask, how do you work with your brother or your dad? And to me, I love them dearly, their family. There's nobody I'd rather work with.
It was an evolutionary process. I went to work for my father-in-law as a ditch digger in June of 1966 and evolved from there into a developer.
You know, I got into the business right out of college with Patrick Development, Pat and Tim Crewer. Didn't know any better at the time, and just the School of Hard Knocks. We were going through the recession then, back in the 90s, and I was kind of the go-to person because I was the cheapest one employed at the company.
I became a land developer first, and I did a little building, but mostly it was land development. And I loved the challenge of taking raw land and converting it into housing for people.
That's a great question. I grew up in a family that built buildings, from my grandfather, who rebuilt most of Korea, to my father, who built several hospitals and buildings in downtown Los Angeles. And as much as I tried not to go into the business in my early years, when I got into it as a teenager, it hooked me. I loved the building aspect of the business, the ability to create a place where, in our case, somebody works or somebody lives, and it shapes their life. It's a wonderful thing to be a part of.